Hey, what's up everyone? How's it going? So in honor of the reveal of the new starter Pokemon for Pokemon Sword and Shield, I wanted to make this video about my top 10 all-time favorite starter Pokemon. So, before I kind of get into the list, I want to put a huge disclaimer out there that I don't really care too much about Pokemon stats, so I'm not going to really mention that all that much. So, this might be a little bit of an unconventional list, so please remember, it's all my opinion. Please, 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 don't crucify me for that. Alright, let's just jump into it. Number 10. So starting out this list is Piplup. So what can I say about this bundle of feathers and sass? Now, I haven't really used Piplup all that much in the games, but I absolutely loved Dawn's Piplup from the anime. It was just so sassy and fiery, and just had so much personality in general, so whenever I see or use a Piplup to this day, I just imagine it having that same gigantic personality that Dawn's had. The reason it's so low on this list, though, is because while I love Piplup herself, I just don't really care for the design of either of her evolutions. While I certainly don't dislike either Prinplup or Empoleon, their designs are both just very meh to me. I don't know, I feel like Empoleon's just like the white bread equivalent of starter Pokemon final evolutions. It's just really bland, don't really notice it, doesn't really stick out too much. I'd rather slap an Everstone on Piplup and just call it a day. So since my main connection with Piplup is from watching the anime as a kid and not really playing with her in my party too much in the games, I'm gonna leave her here at a nice solid number 10. Number 9. Next up, I have Popplio. Now, I'll be honest, the only reason I paid any attention to Popplio at first was because of just how much hate it was getting when the starters were announced for Sun and Moon. And I don't know, I didn't think it was that bad. Like, people were literally acting like Popplio was the second coming of Mussolini or something. Taking it a little bit far. So, being the altruistic and charitable guy that I am in my first playthrough of Pokemon Moon, I selflessly chose Popplio as my first starter. So while initially I kind of chose her out of pity, I actually ended up really liking Popplio as a Pokemon. Her water fairy typing was a pretty freaking dope payoff when I finally leveled her up to be a Primarina, and just in general, I'm surprised at how much fun I had using her before I realized I stopped liking Popplio just because I felt like they were a pity project, and more because I kind of saw their merits in their designs and genuinely just liked them as Pokemon in general. Number 8. Yep, it's another water type. So, in a completely opposite situation to Popplio, I totally jumped on the Froakie bandwagon when X and Y were released. Like, this guy was the freaking Real Madrid of the Kalos region. If you picked him, you were fully aware that you'd pick the outright favorite and the best in the region, and you did not care. I feel like almost everyone chose Froakie, with a few people opting for Fennekin, and I didn't know anyone that chose Chespin. Sorry, Chespin. But that's because, if we're being completely honest, he was straight up just the best designed evolutionary line in the generation, hands down. Like, Fennekin was cute at first for sure, but I don't know. Delphox was giving off some serious bad juju, and I don't mess with that. And let's think about it. Froakie's popularity has transcended mediums, with Greninja being by far the most iconic Pokemon from the 6th generation, even being chosen to appear in Super Smash Bros., and having that really kind of weird human Pokemon hybrid transformation thing that I just really wasn't sure should be a thing, but it was still low-key a pretty cool looking design. Anyways, I digress. I can't put Froakie any higher on this list though, just because I don't have too much of an emotional attachment to him other than the fact that he was the first Pokemon I got to use in a 3D mainline Pokemon game. Number 7. Whoa, it's not a water type this time. We're getting crazy in this list. But no, for real though, I heckin' love Turtwig. This little bitty turtle is such a scamp and I love him. When Diamond and Pearl came out, Turtwig was the Pokemon I latched onto without a second thought. It wasn't until a few months later that I realized just how cool Piplup was. I mean, an evolutionary line based entirely on the concept of a world turtle still just captures my imagination after all these years. And while he's not the first starter Pokemon based on a turtle, in my opinion, he's the best. Because of his unique design and Pokédex entries, which mention that some Pokemon are even born on Terterra's back and live there their whole lives, it just makes me love him that much more. I mean, he's literally a walking ecosystem. That's dope. That's dope. Number 6. And we're back to water types with Totodile. And what can I say about this little goon? I think the best way for me to describe why I love Totodile so much is kind of really well described in this montage of scenes from the anime. So, enjoy that for a second. Yeah, enough said. Number 5. Okay, before you say anything, yes, I did talk about how much I loved Popplio because it was underrated, but let's be honest. While Rowlet wasn't the first Pokemon I chose in Sun and Moon, it's still by far my favorite. That little round ball of feathers and love is just such a wonderfully designed Pokemon, and it's everything that I always wanted Hoot Hoot to be in Generation 2. The two Pokemon have a similar, wonderfully simple design scheme, but seeing Rowlet become potentially the coolest Pokemon ever created in Decidueye was an absolute treat, and I'm still really bitter that Incineroar got a place in Smash Bros. Ultimate over him. I mean, I think Grass and Ghost, which are two of my favorite types, by the way, is probably the coolest type combination that has ever existed in Pokemon. So disclaimer, I'm about to get carried away here, and I'm sorry for what you're about to hear. You might want to turn down the volume on your computers. I really love Noctowl too. He's great. Don't take this personal, Noctowl fans. I just got caught up in the moment. Alright, let's go. Like, I bet you can't come up with a cooler concept for a Pokemon. He's literally a Ghostly Ranger style Pokemon modeled after an owl, and owls are just so cool! And the only other fully evolved owl we have in Pokemon is Noctowl, and while Noctowl's fine, he's so much better than Noctowl, and I've been waiting for so long for another cool owl Pokemon to come along because owls are freaking dope! Eat your heart out, Noctowl, you basic excuse for an owl Pokemon! And now back to your regularly scheduled list. Number 4. So, after that little episode, finally we have a Fire-type starter on this list. And I've gotta say, I have so much love for this little guy. I love Gold, Silver, and Crystal more than any other Pokemon games. and as such, I've played them a lot. I've made so many memories with this little guy over the years, and it kills me to have him even this low on the list because of just how many memories I've made with him and his evolutions. For some reason, something that really stands out in my mind as a fond memory from those games was absolutely demolishing Bugsy with my Quilava as soon as I possibly could. I'm not even sure why this is such a vivid memory of my childhood, but it is. I think I like choosing Cyndaquil because when I was a kid, it was almost like playing the games on easy mode. So with these being the first Pokemon games that I really latched onto, that's what's kind of led me to love Cyndaquil so much to this day. Number 3, Bulbasaur. There are just so many reasons that I love Bulbasaur from literally every single medium imaginable. I love his nurturing and caring nature in the anime. I love how his artwork from Gen 1 to now has slowly transitioned from him being a grumpy boy into the most positive and kind-looking Pokemon imaginable. I'm obsessed with his very simple design, and I think that he has transferred so well from the original 2D sprites to the live-action adaptation in Detective Pikachu. And if you haven't seen the Instagram user Nekoama's comic strips that follow the Kanto starters, you need to go do that, because these comics will make your heart so full of affection for this little cabbage monster that I can't even handle it. I'll put the handle in the description. Seriously, check these comics out. It'll make your life better. I have to admit though, my memories of playing Red and Blue are a bit hazy, so I'm really drawing on how excited I was to be able to adopt a Bulbasaur in Pokemon Yellow once I was a little bit older. I'd already played Gold, Silver, and Crystal at this time, so I have some Pokemon experience under my belt, but it wasn't really until Fire Red and Leaf Green that I genuinely came to the conclusion that he was my favorite starter Pokemon of the first generation. Number 2. The Hoenn region is the region that I think I've spent by far the most time in my life, and while it may not be my favorite when it's compared with Johto, I would say it's definitely number 2, and that is in no small part because of this tiny little axolotl Mudkip. Just like I said with Rowlet and Hoot Hoot, Mudkip is everything that I wanted Wooper to be and so much more. Mudkip wasn't the Pokemon I was drawn to at first in the Hoenn region, to be honest with you. I was first drawn to Trico, had a little bit of a fling with Torchic. It wasn't until I'd played through Sapphire and Emerald with those two did I finally give Mudkip a chance when my brother gave me his copy of Ruby. And let me tell you, I don't know what took me so long. The whole evolutionary line is just so wonderful and kind of awkward, but in the best way, you know? Kind of like me. I personally don't think it ever loses its charm, even once it becomes Swampert. And Mega Blaziken and Mega Sceptile, they're great and all, they're fine, but Mega Swampert is literally the Pokemon embodiment of the Incredible Hulk on a good amount of steroids. I'm not exactly sure what my point there was exactly, but Mudkip's pretty cool. So yeah. There's no real reason behind it, but I love him. He's my number 2. Yay! And if you got a problem with that, it's my list. So, sorry. Number 1. Alright, so here it is. My all-time favorite starter Pokemon, and just Pokemon in general, is Chikorita. And don't click off the video, hear me out. So, I have no illusions that Chikorita is any good in battle, and yeah, Meganium looks kinda derpy, and I can kinda see that. But something about the design of Chikorita just makes me so happy. She's simple, but so charming at the same time. Just the giant leaf on her head and the buds around her neck that kind of form a little necklace. I was only 4 years old when Gold and Silver came out, but Chikorita was the first starter Pokemon that I vividly remember choosing in a Pokemon game, and and really being proud of before I kind of understood the importance of tight matchups and building a well-rounded team. She was the first Pokemon that was able to fully evolve, one of the first ones that I was able to beat a gym with, the one that helped me catch some of my other first Pokemon ever. I remember just going home and tracing different pictures of Chikorita until I was able to draw her pretty well on my own. And I suck super bad at art, so this was a pretty big deal. I don't know. Well, I know just how objectively kind of bad she is, kind of stat-wise and moveset-wise. I don't care. So much of my love for Pokemon stems from Chikorita, and for that reason, she's my absolute favorite starter Pokemon of all time, and my favorite Pokemon of all time. She'll always have a place in my perfect team of 6 Pokemon, and I don't think that's ever gonna change. And those are my top 10 favorite starter Pokemon of all time. If you like this video, you want to see more top 10s, more Pokemon content coming from this channel, then please like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you don't, then as always, there's not a whole lot I can kind of do to change your mind on that, but I would appreciate it. Have a great day. Later.